Hello world. In this video, we're going to be talking a bit more about Goroutines, lambda functions, and some of the best practices while executing or working with Goroutines. So lambda functions are functions which don't have a name, which you only need one time for a quick execute and discard. So a lambda function might be like this: func and fmt.println hello. And this defines a function, and if you want to call this function, simply do double brace and then exit. So do a go run on main2.go this time, and hello and fin. So we define this function in such a way because we don't need this function after its execution. So we quickly declared this function and then executed it. So if I want one more anonymous function, I might say func fmt.println. So these functions are called both anonymous and lambda functions. So lambda functions is a terminology which you might understand if you're coming from a Python background, and anonymous functions if you're coming from a JavaScript background. So go run main2.go hello world. Now we want to run these functions as Goroutines, right? So go and go. Let's see if they work. Fin. So what happened? So this might seem like a pretty subtle thing, but you might see that hello and world are much larger strings than, let's say, fin over here. And there is also additional overhead of executing these functions as Goroutines as compared to a normal serial execution. It might take some 0.000 microsecond difference, because of which this fin got executed before these functions did, right? So what I want to do right now is, in our current paradigm, we are not waiting for the Goroutines. So earlier what we were doing was, we were using the select block, right? And what the select block was doing was, it was waiting indefinitely. So fin hello world, and it was waiting indefinitely for these. So this might result in a deadlock in a lot of cases. So if you take a look at this case, it return in a deadlock because our main function was also finished in this case. And then if you want to avoid conditions like these, we use something known as wait groups. So wait groups are a property of the sync package in Golang, which is built in. So we initialize a wait group by just saying wg, or wait group is equal to sync, or rather the reference to a sync dot wait group. So here we declared a wait group. So what wait group gives us is this add, done, and wait functionality. So add, done, and wait functionality. So you're gonna see it's all gonna become obvious to you after this example. So we say that wg.add two. So add two Goroutines or add two functions in my wait group. So you can add any functions in the wait group. It can be either Goroutines or functions, normal functions. So add two functions in my wait group. So once my first function is done with this execution, you can simply say wg.done. And when the second function is done with its execution, I'll say wg.done. So I added two Goroutines in this thing in my wait group. So my wait group waits for two done calls, two done signals. So internally it's defined as a signal. So when it gets two done signals, then it's gonna move forward from this wait statement. So what I'm saying here is, you can add X number of values here. You can add 200,000 values over here. You can add anything, but for the purpose of this example, we're adding just two Goroutines. I'm just saying that, okay, add these two Goroutines and wait for two done calls. After two done calls, you proceed further. So we're gonna wait for the two done calls. When these are done, it means that all the functions inside our wait group have been executed and terminated without any errors. And then after this, we're going to go with fin. So in this case, we don't need a select block anymore. So if you try to run it, voila. So you saw that in our case, our fin executed last because it was waiting for this thing. So if we do a print line before fin, and then we do another print line exit, you know what's going to happen. Fin executed first, world hello, and then exit. So this is how we use wait groups. Wait groups are a property of the sync package. So if you have a block, or a database or any other resource which you want only one goroutine or only one function to access at any one given time, then you can use mutexes. So what mutexes do is they ensure that every task that happens in mutual exclusion of the other task. So only one task can happen at one time if it requires access to a shared resource. So accessing a shared resource is known as a critical section, because a lot of things can go wrong. So for declaring mutexes, you can say mute is equal to address of sync dot mutex, and then you have functions like lock and unlock, mute dot lock, and then mute dot unlock. So this is kind of like a homework for you, and check it out. It's a very cool thing, and it helps you a lot when you're accessing shared resources. So this was about wait groups and goroutines and anonymous functions. See you guys in the next video.